Laker fans. Laker fans, how are you doing? What an opening night. What an opening night that was for the Lakers. Disappointing loss, but we had some good moments. But we got to talk about the games in general. But first, I want to talk about the ring night. It's a beautiful thing to watch when you're a Laker fan. The last 10 years, this is the first time in 10 years the Lakers had that ring ceremony. And that was a beautiful presentation by Jeannie Buss, the Lakers owner. And what an introductory, the ring ceremony. The players' family introducing the players to receive the ring. It was a beautiful thing. And then the game, the ugliness of game happens. I know a lot of Laker fans are probably not happy right now, but a lot of fans will probably say just one game that just started. The new guys need a time to gel. Of course, yeah, everything that you say makes sense, but I want to just cover some of the things the Lakers need to work on from now on. There are things that I saw a lot of improvements needs to happen. So first of all, just say the Lakers lost against Clippers. The game wasn't close as the score indicates. We were down by 22 at one point, and it came back to tie the game in the third quarter with the LeBron and Anthony Davis starting to catch up the rhythm a little bit. But we ended up losing by especially the Paul George catching on fire in the third quarter, almost the end of third quarter. He scored 10 points on his own, giving the Clippers 13-point lead going into the fourth, 11 points going into the fourth, and then Kawhi Leonard catches up in the fourth quarter. It was just the atrocious effort on the Lakers on the board, allowing a lot of second chance, giving a rebounded by Patrick Beverly. Even we had the two big guys like Harrell and AD on the floor, still couldn't grab a rebound. We couldn't grab a rebound to save our lives. We had five guys in double figures, so we didn't have a problem scoring the basket. We had a problem defending. Of course, the Clippers, made things interesting. They were up by 22, and then allowed the Lakers to come back and made the game a little interesting. But you didn't take advantage of it. In third quarter, we had a chance to really take the lead. But then, turnover happened. The bad ball execution happened. I know the new guys need a little time more to gel. This was not a game for the Lakers to win in the first place. When I saw in the first quarter, we're down big, allowing a lot of easy buckets for the Clippers. It looked like that we need to work on their defensive scheme a little bit more. I know the time is going to get better. Just the first game in the regular season, and they played a preseason, which wasn't really that much of a big deal. If you look at the preseason, they look like they're gonna start playing well. But if you look at tonight's game, that's not the case. No, we had a lot of plays where allowed easy bucket, especially in the paint. And I'm gonna talk about some of the players that should be blamed for tonight's loss. But I'll say the overall team effort wasn't there. I can't just blame one play for the loss because it's a team game. Basketball play with five guys, and we had 11-man rotation, which wasn't too bad. We're not playing with just a short roster. Frank Vogel was testing out a lot of roster on the floor, giving a lot more. Giving each players to gel with each other, giving they get used to the position, and But one thing I really found it really good for the Lakers is the Harrell and Schroeder, two-man game. It really worked well during the game. Basically, they were finding their space easy. Uh, Harrell and Schroeder look like they're gonna be a very good one-two punch off the bench for the season to come. So I just wanna cover some of the stats for tonight. Pretty much the for the Lakers, as a team, they shot on a 47%, and and shot 9 for 29 from three, which wasn't very good. And none of the three-point shooter was hot. And then we had five guys in double figures. That start with the LeBron James with 22, 5 and 5. LeBron in the beginning didn't look like LeBron James. He looked like really slow. Not got in the rhythm late. They started picking up in the third quarter. And then Anthony Davis, he shot ball well. If you look at it, most of his play was mostly like ISO play, and he scored mostly on the position. He didn't really attempt that many shots today, just 15 field goal attempt. And you got to talk about the Dennis Schroeder. On the stats, he really played well. 14, 12, and 8 assists. Almost had a triple double in 27 minutes. It's surprised that Frank Vogel used him as a starter tonight. Well, he earlier mentioned that he's gonna try to test out starters, different starting lineups for the next 4 or 6 weeks. So we'll see how the lineup will look like. We're gonna see a lot of change in the lineup in the upcoming weeks, and he'll find the best lineup as possible to compete with the other team. And the Montrezl Harrell, of course, double double with 14-10, shows some flashiness of his assist ability. Kyle Kuzma 15 and 6 of 11 from shooting. He scored mostly the garbage. I mean, I would say garbage. It was more like a decided situation for the Lakers. And then I need to talk about Kyle Kuzma a little bit since I'm talking about his already. There were a couple times in the game where Kyle Kuzma lost his man. Especially he couldn't really stop Paul George. Why he decided to go one-on-one against Paul George, I don't know about that. Maybe just Frank Vogel gave him that assignment to try to stop Paul George on one-on-one situation. I don't think he's capable of doing that. He lost a lot of Paul George drive in. He was scoring at ease. Basically, Kyle Kuzma was not defending in a smart way. He committed a foul, which he didn't have to commit those 3-point foul because he was late for the defensive switch. Then he ended up committing that boneheaded foul play. We see that a couple times already in his career. It happens a couple times in the season, and which we're not very happy with it. That's the one problem we have. Kyle Kuzma, it's that he's not very smart with his decision. Right? Just make a lot of boneheaded plays. His BQ is not so high when you see him play. He plays within the flow, so he definitely fits in the transition type of offense. If he plays in a triangle or some of the set offensive plays, he's probably get lost. Yeah. So when he thinks too much, then he fumbles and he starts to make a mistake. So I think it's definitely better come off the bench and give some the much needed point production. But if you play the set offense or set defense, he's probably not going to be able to adapt to it. And we could talk about some of the disappointments in the other Lakers, like Wesley Matthews. We should look at him in the last 5 games, including the preseason. He hasn't lived up to that defensive expectation. We brought him just because we want to replace him for the Avery Bradley or the other wing defender. It looks like he got murdered by Kawhi tonight. Kawhi was scoring at ease. I mean, scoring most of the time that Kawhi had a hard time was with Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis containing shot, giving a hard time. But you can't really let Anthony Davis defend Kawhi every time, because Kawhi is much faster. Anthony Davis is going to get tired, and that's not what the Lakers want. They want the wing defender to take Kawhi, just give him as much trouble as possible. But if you look at the Matthews, he's been a disappointment. Yeah, I wouldn't give him much of a props tonight, especially the KCP. He plays a role. He scored a couple threes. He scored 9 points all in the second quarter. It's pretty much non-existent in the second half, because he didn't play. He played 23 minutes, of course, but a couple times KCP disappears for no reason. That happened last year. So that's why he's not an all-star player. He's a role player at best. And Caruso didn't play much, just was 16 minutes. He was okay on the defense, just making a lot of wide open, missing a lot of wide open three, but he's not known for that. So, I was okay with that. And THT is given 10 minutes of playing time. Still, it provides a good number, 6 points and 1 rebound and 1 steal. He didn't shoot the ball that much. He didn't get that chance like a preseason. But once he gets more minutes, I think he's going to get more comfortable, and he's going to provide better number. I can promise you that THT is going to have a better number than he ever did in last year. That was my take on the whole Laker roster today. Of course, the game didn't go to garbage, or these other second unit guys didn't get a chance to really perform. But if you look at the score, of course, it looked like it was a close game, but Lakers never had a lead in this game. They didn't have a chance to win this game. They came out flat, just didn't execute well. They're just making a lot of defensive mistake, switching, especially the switch issue with the communications. They had a problem with switching each other. That will come with the more practices and more games they play on. Now, what is your take on the first game of the Lakers? They had disappointing loss. I know the Lakers fans don't make a big deal out of this first game. And they'll eventually catch up to their level, like they did in the bubble playoff, the championship level. But it's gonna take time, because we lost a lot of core guys who played in the bubble playoff, especially on the size. We're gonna have some problem. With the illustrated, we got outlined by the small guards, and that I think has to do with their energy level. If they come out really active on the energy, they're not gonna make that kind of mistake, because it's not like they don't have a size. They'll still perform well. Next game is against Mavericks on the Christmas Day. I will keep covering that game, and I'll probably go on the live for that game. But I'd like to hear you guys about the things that Lakers need to improve on from now on. Based on the first game you saw, just the first game on the regular season, what do you want to see the improvement on their roster? And which rotation do you think is ideal for the Lakers in order for them to be more consistent? I don't think Shooter really fits well with the LeBron or Gasol on the floor. As I mentioned in the earlier video, like I posted it earlier on the preseason, he's a ball dominant guard. He needs ball in his hand most of the time. He's not effective off the ball, so he doesn't have the capability of moving off the ball and producing the numbers. He needs to shoot a lot. Like Shooter, I think he shot like how many times today? Let me see. He shot 15 times, the same as Anthony Davis. So he demands the ball. He needs to shoot a lot more to be more effective. And he is a rhythm shooter. If he doesn't shoot, he's gonna struggle. And because he's not gonna get that much usage rate like he did last year with OKC, I think it's better that he comes off the bench. I think it's better that Lakers put maybe two wing defender to start the game, especially against the Clippers. I think Shooter is not going to be helpful on the defense. So I think KCP or Wesley Matthews, or even Kyle Kuzma, you can try to put him in the three. LeBron four, and well, you got to put Kyle Kuzma two if you want to, because LeBron is going three, and then AD in four, Gasol five. And one other guy I didn't mention is Marc Gasol. This guy, definitely the age is catching up to him, and he committed five fouls. He got subbed out early in the third quarter. Pretty much didn't really do anything tonight. I think you'll see more of Gasol with the different teams, but with the Clippers, I don't think he can be effective. I mean, if he can stretch floor and maybe make that wide open three, or somehow be that control tower for the Lakers, I think he'll be more effective. So leave your comments and press like if you like the video. Continue to subscribe to the channel, and I'll come back with another post game show. Yo, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys.